All right, we've got Scott here from Haltech, and we just want to have a quick tour of some of the ancillary products that Haltech can supply and explain to you how they work and how they can be an advantage to you. So, Scott, first of all, we've got the Racepak Smart Wire that you guys are using with your Haltech product. So can you explain to us a little bit about what the Smart Wire is and how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. So now, the Smartwire product, this product here, basically connects with the Haltech ECU via the CAN bus. So all the sensors that are going into the Haltech can be read directly into the Smartwire. Then we can turn any auxiliary device on and off straight through the CAN bus. Now, the Smartwire, think of it like a fuse box. Internally, it's got 30 solid state relays. So we can turn on or off 30 different things, up to 20 amps per channel, which is really, really strong. Internally fused, so your car will have no more fuses, no relays. Inside the software, on each output, we can select the like what current for each output to blow, and how many times to retry after a channel does blow. So if you do have a problem in your car or a wiring problem, the Racepak will shut it down, display on your dash what the problem is, and how much current that output is drawing.
So in a nutshell, what we're doing is we're replacing the relays and fuses that we'd normally have installed in the car, and over and above that we've also got a smarter option, because if something does fail, in a normal car you've actually got to pull over to the side of the track, side of the road, and replace a fuse. So the Smart Wire gives you the option to retry that circuit.
Exactly right, yeah. So if a thermofan stops, for instance, you can decide that the car's got road speed, so if it does fail, well, it's probably not too much of a drama while you've got road speed. Whereas if one of your two fuel pumps dies out or something like that, it's probably more of an important thing, so you might want to start putting warnings on the dash or starting to limit the car.
Now, one of the advantages of the Smart Wire as well is the simplicity of the wiring or the install. So that's quite important. You're actually going to cut down on your installation time in comparison to using fuses and relays. That'd be fair?
Absolutely. So the installation costs do come down, because basically you've got one battery cable here that goes straight into the Smart Wire, then all positive feeds out, straight to control your devices, grounding on the other side, so your loom does end up much, much smaller. And look, the labour cost to install something a lot cheaper.
So in rough terms, I mean, I know it's hard to give an overall number. If someone was building a car from scratch, they looked at the option of installing regular fuses and relays or a Smart Wire, are they going to be more expensive or cheaper when they went with a Smart Wire overall?
Look, once you look at the labour cost of doing a full install on a car, headlight to taillight, using a Smart Wire versus using conventional relays, it is going to be more expensive, but a very, very small amount. So what you get at the end of it, and how neat your wiring is, and how easy it is to find a problem if you do have one, mate, it's going to pay for itself the first time.
Let's just talk a little bit more about the CAN bus communications, because I know that's going to be something that really simplifies the installation, and a lot of people don't really understand that CAN bus. So can you explain how the CAN bus works and how that information gets sent from the ECU?
Yeah, definitely. So what happens from the Haltech CAN bus, you've got two wires, a CAN high and a CAN low. So across those two wires, that's all the information you need to send across. So we're actually sharing it here between the Haltech ECU, comes across into a couple of modules, shares into our dash, and shares into the Smartwire system.
I'll just stop you there as well. So this little connector setup here, so this is where all the CAN bus information goes, is that right?
That's exactly right. So coming straight out of the Haltech ECU here, we've got CAN high, CAN low, power and ground. So it actually powers and grounds the whole system as well. Comes out into our connector that goes up into our dash, then comes across straight into the Smart Wire. We've also got a terminating resistor on the end of this little module here. So that way, anything in the CAN bus, start, put a terminating connector on the end, and then we're finished. So there's no external wiring to do either. We supply all the connectors at the lengths that you need.
So if you're wiring the system yourself and you're scared of wires, this looks like a reasonably simple system with those nice sort of connectors that make it easy to just clip together.
Very, very basic. So if we open up, we can even pop one open if you like and have a bit of a look at how they work. Basically, if we just pop one open, you can see like there, that straight away, you can open them. They're a waterproof connector. So if you just specify the length that you need, that's it. When they turn up, everything will just plug in, zip tie it all together, and away you go.
Okay, that's cool, Scott. Can we plug that back together and maybe just have a quick talk about the Haltech or Racepak IQ3 dash? And I'm just interested in what is that going to give us? What display does that give us? And do we get the option to do data logging or anything else cool like that?
Definitely. So we do two versions of the IQ3 dash. One is a display dash and one is a full logging dash. Now there's a few differences. Obviously one of them does data logging. The logging dash also has a G meter, 3-axis G meter built in. And a GPS on board, so we can do GPS track mapping and get your GPS speedo as well. It's very handy in a lot of the conversion cars that don't have speedos in the first place.
That sounds great. In terms of giving some warnings to the driver for, say, things like water temperature, maybe over RPM, etc., that's all doable as well with the IQ3?
Yeah, absolutely. So the IQ3's got the 10 shift lights along the top. It's also got 2 warning lights on either side that are all software programmable to come up with whatever sort of warnings you like. If a warning does pop up, down the bottom of the screen, it'll actually give you what the warning is. So it may be over current draw from your Smartwire, it could be higher coolant temperature, or shift lights coming on, or oil pressure, whatever you like.
With the IQ3 dash, can we do some warnings that are based on certain parameters? So maybe an oil pressure warning that is set based on RPM?
You definitely can. So every warning light has 2 parameters that need to be set. So an and/or condition of 2 channels. So oil pressure, for instance, you would probably want to set on engine RPM and oil pressure. That way, when you turn the ignition on, you don't see any warning lights, because you don't want the driver to start to notice the warning lights and recognize them. That way, when the warning light does come on, it is a real problem.
Okay, so this is going to be a pretty good, well-balanced product that's going to be great for replacing what would normally be a plethora of gauges all across your dash, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're seeing that a lot now, where a lot of people are removing all the older conventional analog style gauges. Main reason being that you have most of these sensors in your car already. So once you've got an engine management system that does have a CAN base set up on it already, you've got your manifold pressure, RPM, throttle position, coolant temperature. Most engines now have oil and fuel pressure sensors. So all the hard work of getting the sensors in the engine is already done. Once you put the dash on, set it up where you'd like everything to be, and that's all you need to do.
Cool. No, well, there's some great products, Scott. Appreciate you taking the time to talk us through them. Thanks again.
Thanks, Audrey. No worries, mate.
For online tuning courses, visit learntotune.com.